And here we go with the Toyota Camry XSE leading the field.
Well, we saw a lot of mistakes in this restart zone, so you got to pay attention to those lines. Hard to see. No mistakes.
Short chute leading to the final corner. There's the start of the restart zone. Shane Van Gisbergen is on it. The green flag is waving. They come off the final turn and address themselves to the start-finish line. We're racing in Watkins.
Well, you see some tire smoke right there out of Ross Chastain's car. Gets that car fit into that gap right there down on the bottom of the corner. And everybody pretty calm right here on this first start, Clint.
And then as you come up through the S, it's very narrow. You want to get things sorted out pretty quick. You're door to door, like you see Blaney. I don't know who was on the inside, but that's an opportunity for somebody coming behind you to pounce on you guys.
175 miles an hour at the end of this back straight before you dive into the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, and it's so difficult to be side by side. You have to get it worked out or give a whole lot of room. And what that does, you see a couple cars dancing all over the place right there. It's like the 7 car of Daniel Suarez. You can run on the outside in this carousel, but man, it is tough to go through that bus stop side by side.
Ty Gibbs trying to make a spot there, and
looks like
Allmendinger down the inside in the 16. Briscoe around the outside trying to take a spot away and diving into the final corner against Ty Gibbs.
You're going to see a lot of people shaking and baking today. Obviously, you got some names up there. McDowell, very good road racer. Cindric, Chastain matching his teammate with Zilisch, Logano, Blaney. Where's some of the Hendrick cars? You got cars all the way through the field here. So we're going to have a lot of people coming up and some people falling back.
4 different organizations put cars in the top 10 in qualifying, but you mentioned Hendrick. They were not among them.
Yeah, which is not something that we would expect. We know Kyle Larson and William Byron have both had some success here at this racetrack, but very mixed up at the front of the field. Trackhouse, we talked about them needing to make this race. They need to capitalize on either winning this race or really good days in the top 5, and they qualified well and put themselves up front. Guy who didn't, right here, Kyle Busch, you know, he's made his way up a little bit, 21st in the pack right now, and Chase Briscoe on the outside there of Allmendinger.
Allmendinger's been aggressive these opening laps.
Well, where this is really going to get interesting, guys, is around lap 12, lap 15. That's where we saw these cars fall off yesterday. And I think up in the front of this pack, I think a lot of these guys are trying to take care of their tires. In the middle of the pack, you have to do everything that you can do to put yourself in a position to make up those positions when you have the opportunity with everybody bunched up.
The Ford Racing Cam on board Austin Cindric as Ross Chastain dives to the inside at turn 1 and holds that line into 2.
Tight with half.
Look how narrow it is up through the S. Is asking a lot out of these cars. Very narrow racing quarters, and now you are flat to the floor and flying through there.
Connor Zilisch right with them. He's already got 1 checkered flag this weekend.
Now it's a game of chicken getting into the bus stop. It really is.
And you see Zilisch keep that car up on the outside.
Now he's going to get aggressive.
And Joey Logano underneath his teammate.
Yeah, it really put Cindric in a bad spot when he was on the outside going into the carousel right there. Didn't really expect Zilisch to probably keep that car in position to run side by side through the middle of the bus stop.
Well, it didn't just cost him one position, cost him another. Bell got in the back of him, crossed him up. Cindric's struggling.
With the soft tire that they run on these cars, I would imagine a driver who likes to run his car off the outside rear tire is going to be at a big disadvantage as we get late into a run here.
Well, and that's one thing that SVG does really well is he gets himself to back the brake zone up, keeps the roll speed high, and then rolls all the way around the corner. Traditional oval track racers like myself and Clint, we want to get to the middle of the corner and put the gas down and try to
yeah,
and that just tears up those back tires. A lot of strategy in what they're going to have to do today until they get this first set of tires off the car and understand with the higher temperature and everything that goes with it as to what that tire wear is going to be. So as you see right now from the Go Bowling camera of Michael McDowell, as they enter the bus or the carousel right here, Shane Gisbergen is just pacing himself, in my opinion. And you hear how late McDowell is back to the throttle right there, all the way around the corner. He knows as well. All these guys know that they have to take care of the rears.
I want to give McDowell some praise here. Obviously, the Spire cars have been fast this year. He probably is to the backside of that with Hocevar Hardman a win already, but this is his opportunity to shine. Very good road racer, and he proved that this weekend. Great qualifying effort, has a good day going on. Wouldn't surprise me a bit if you see the 71 in victory lane.
Yeah, and he's got a fresh set of shoes today. He's got different shoes on from practice. I never could do that, Clint. I had to have the same pair of shoes, especially when I was. Well, I wasn't superstitious. I didn't want anything to be different with how my feet slid on those pedals. And you see his gas pedal is really unique with the way that foot pad slides up and down the shaft of that pedal. So it stays with the ball of his foot.
You think those are PBA approved?
I don't know, but I really thought that we should make those tire packs down there like bowling pins,
balls,
because somebody's going to hit them.
Sure. And there's that pad underneath his right foot at the top of the accelerator pedal, and it slides on the pedal so that the top and the ball of his foot stay in the same position all the time instead of your foot having to slide on the pedal. I like that.
Yeah, and the way that these floor mount pedals, which means the bottom of the pedal is mounted to the floor of the car, it just has a weird flow to the way that the pedal moves. So you have to do something with the pad to keep it in the right spot.
Shane Van Gisbergen and Michael McDowell Chevrolet have run away from the field by 4 seconds over Chastain, Zilisch, and Logano. Welcome back to the Go Bowling at the Glen on FS1. You're watching our aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Tried, tested, proven legendary. Shane Van Gisbergen has opened up 2 seconds on Michael McDowell. Connor Zilisch 6 seconds back of the lead. Ross Chastain 7. And Joey Logano 8 seconds back. The two of the top 3 just ran their fastest lap of the race, the Xfinity fastest lap, which belongs to Van Gisbergen at 120.5 miles per hour. Jamie?
And Mike, Shane Van Gisbergen continues to be the fastest car on the track lap after lap, but it didn't necessarily start out that way in practice yesterday. He wasn't happy with it. There was something with the tire that was throwing him off. Felt like he was on top of the track, and I talked to his crew chief, Stephen Doran. He said he softened him up for today, and they felt like they had a good handle on it. Didn't have to make any other adjustments, though. And Kevin was talking a little bit ago about what he does differently and how he drives differently than his competitors. He goes deeper in the corner, but his crew chief told me it's that brake modulation, how he uses the brakes and how he uses the clutch to really keep those rear tires happy and intact, and he doesn't burn them up as quick as others. Josh?
The guys in the booth talked about how important of a race this is for Trackhouse. It's been a really good track for Ross Chastain as of late. 2 straight top 10s here. I thought it was interesting on the pre-race show talking to our Jamie Little. He told the team to make the setup like SVG, and he said, let me be the variable the rest of the way. Let me do what I can to make up for it and figure this thing out. So far, Ross has been quiet on the radio. Started in 4th, still currently in 4th. And the team telling him the front of the pack is starting to put a gap on where he's at this last run.
Regan? Well, Josh, as we talk about a number of drivers in this field trying to figure out what Shane Van Gisbergen is doing and how he does it differently, Joey Logano is one that's taken it to a whole nother level. Coming into this weekend, he had figured out how to heel toe, committed to heel towing, meaning that he was using his right foot on the gas and brake, much like SVG does. Started the weekend in practice doing that, but decided halfway through practice wasn't working out quite the way that he wanted to, so he shifted back to doing the standard left foot braking in this 22 car. It picked up speed, qualifying went well, and as you can see, up 1 position right now to 5th from where he started, guys. That is working better for Joey Logano right now, but these guys are all trying a number of things to figure out how to catch Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody has to do and has been doing. I think it's really changed the way that all of our traditional oval racers think about road racing, and the bad news is they're just not going to figure out a whole lifetime full of experience to go with it. And you know, the things that Shane does, and he can go into the corner deeper when he wants to, as we saw in practice or qualifying yesterday, but it's really that he doesn't go in as deep and uses less brake pressure and gets that roll speed up in the car, rolls further around the corner with more of that mid-corner speed into the throttle later. So he's shocking the tire less.
Well, let me ask the two of you, how did it ever work out for you when you tried somebody else's setup or tried to adopt somebody else's driving style?
If I had somebody that was a teammate, and I did, you know, at times, and he came to me at times, especially, you know, over the years at RCR and Stewart Haas Racing, but I was open-minded. I wanted to, you know, put that weight on my shoulders, make sure that the car's the same, you know, and I'm comparing apples to apples, but if I am and that setup's better and you can prove it to me, throw that baby in.
Yeah.
Connor Zilisch running in 3rd, 6.6 seconds back of the leader. We were privileged to be able to sit in on his team meeting this morning.
Got a big day today. Great opportunity for us. Got to execute all day long. Strategy will be a little bit varying today. You know, it's probably at least a 3-stop strategy. I don't see the 2-stop stuff being a play with the length of the race now, with it being longer and how the tires were wearing yesterday. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Let's go have a great day.
Have a good day. Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Happy birthday, Jimmy. Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Zilisch was 2nd in Friday's truck race and won yesterday's O'Reilly race, taking the lead on the final turn of the race from one of his best friends, Jesse Love. 9 to go in stage 1. The greatest spectacle in racing is just 2 weeks away. The 110th Indianapolis 500, the world's biggest race. Sunday, May 24th on Fox. 14 laps complete, 6 to go in stage 1. Shane Van Gisbergen 5 seconds up on Michael McDowell. He is 8 ahead of Connor Zilisch and 11 ahead of Ross Chastain. And this beautiful undulating road race course is beginning to take on a new color, kind of a dappled black. Marbles.
Well, we're starting to see some tire fall off too to match that, and this is where it's coming from. Starting to cheese grade these tires off. A lot of marbles on the racetrack. Starting to hear and see lap time fall off.
Yeah, and it's going to eat those back tires up. We have more horsepower in these cars this year, so that allows these guys to carry more speed in and get to the throttle, and it'll actually spin the tires up off. But what you're seeing right here is it's grading those tires through the middle of the corner, and when the rear tires go on these cars, the first thing they want to do is any direction that you're going, very easy to slide. So you just have to slow down and be able to keep the car as straight as possible. And that's why you see SVG is almost a second faster than second place Michael McDowell right now.
The Toyota Racing on board with Ty Gibbs, who has picked up 2 spots. Nobody has gained more than 3 positions. The biggest movers have only gained 3 spots. However, there are some drivers who are going the other way.
Well, this is really when it's going to show up. It's going to start showing up right now. Lap 12 is probably where we started, guys. Austin Cindric stopped yesterday in practice. He's like, I can't drive it. Well, guess what? Today you can't stop as we see Austin Dillon already on pit lane.
Larry, what are your options for pit stops in the rest of this stage?
Yeah, Mike, remember the fuel window is 34 to 36 laps, so you could do this race on 2 trips to pit road. But remember what Randall Burnett told that 88 crew that we just saw. It's probably a 3-stop race. I think what you're going to see, remember they close pit road 2 laps before the end of the stage when the leader crosses the start-finish line. I think this next lap, and for sure with 3 to go, you're going to see a lot of them come to pit road and do what we call flip the stage. That means they'll have the track position when the stage ends.
You'll need to be within 7 seconds of the leader to make it to pit road before it closes if you're waiting till 2 to go.
Yeah, and I believe today, as we hear them talk, Larry, I think that the tires are wearing more than they did last year. I'm super intrigued to see what happens at the beginning of stage 2 when we have some guys that stay out on points, especially if it's one of these good cars like SVG or somebody, to be able to see how fast they can make up that ground and how these worn out tires refire.
And that's what we saw at COTA. Chasing these points, we know every point is so valuable.
Tyler Reddick on pit road. He gives up, I believe, 15th place to come in pit, running right where he started. Kyle Larson comes in with him.
Yeah,
4 to go in the stage.
And a lot of these guys are, 15th, 14th, 15th place back, and they got to figure something out and try something. Even if they get passed by 10 guys right off the bat in the second stage, they've still put themselves in a better position. You just want to have a net gain from where you pitted right here.
Reddick away, Alex Bowman finishing up with his stop. Kyle Larson. And here comes the leader.
Yeah, and that means they're going to have to go hard, because if they don't, they're going to go a lap down. They should be substantially faster, but typically when you come out in these situations, you hope you get in a scenario where you can just ride around.
3 to go in stage 1. Regan.
Well, Mike Connor Zilisch with a much-needed great start to this race right now, running in the 3rd position. That car for him just a little too tight through the carousel, and he told crew chief Randall Burnett that it's too tight to the right, too loose to the left. That should be something easy to fix.
All right, Larry, now you're watching SVG stay out 2nd, 3rd place. Other cars putting pressure on him. Do you stay out here and get these stage points? We're not even in the playoffs yet.
But he might be the only driver in car that can score stage points, win a stage, and still win the race. I think he's the only one that could do it, especially here in stage 1. We got a long way to go.
Almost half the field is on pit road with 3 to go.
It's a track position game. There's no question. You're setting yourself up. You play these races in reverse. But when you have the speed of that 97 car, he gives you the availability to do a little bit bigger playbook.
16 of the 38 starters did not come to pit road. Most of the field did. And here we go with 2 to go. When he crosses that start-finish line, The pits will close with 2 laps to go.
And the advantage that he had taking the being a leader was he could wait an extra lap. But they saw how many cars pitted, and they knew that they would be in big trouble if they stayed on the racetrack.
And now no one else can pit because the pits are closed all the way down to Jamie Little.
So far, so perfect for Shane Van Gisbergen. Led the first 18 laps of this one. They count him down all the way into the #1 box. Remember, a lot of these teams, they've swapped the front changer and the rear changer just to keep things in that muscle memory the same. Solid stop for the 97.
Yeah, and I love when he took off right there. Not a lot of wheel spin. You want to take care of those rear tires every chance that you get. You see a lot of guys that burn the tires. He just locked the thing forward and managed that wheel spin to be virtually none.
He came in leading. He comes out in, I believe, 9th place, 8th or 9th place, with Ross Chastain taking over the lead. SVG is still in position to gain some stage points.
And these stage points right here going for that. No surprise here. Logano not in the playoffs. Chastain not in the playoffs. The battle's going to be on. Very valuable stage points for these 2 cars.
And it's going to be great to see if how fast these guys can move through the field with those fresh tires, because they are going to be buried in the back of this pack.
All of the Penske cars stayed out. They're now running 2, 3, 4 with Allmendinger 5th. Riley Herbst in position to pick up the final stage point a lap from now.
See the different options that you have outside of turn 1 right there, but on that curb or over that curb, on the inside of the curb. And that's the great part about the tire packs is being able to have those options still with the room that they left inside of the outside of the curb and the tire packs that they put down. But Ross Chastain, you know, we talked about him needing to make a day out of this, and they're choosing to take these points right here and put themselves in a spot to make sure that they get something out of this day.
And speaking of days, look at the 22 right behind him. I remember yesterday in practice, Kevin, wondering, man, these guys are still not on pace. Really turned their day around in that qualifying run, matching the pace of Austin Cindric. He was fast in practice, but that 22 car wasn't necessarily as fast as he was. Made some big wholesale changes and got themselves in a position to get stage points right here. Big turnaround.
Guys, speaking of stage points, Chase Elliott stayed out to score stage points. He's not going to score them. He's sitting there running 11th, and now he's going to be deep in the field because he'll have to pit at the end of the stage.
Ross Chastain earns his 3rd stage win of the season, ahead of Logano, Blaney, and Cindric's Fords, Allmendinger's Chevy, the Toyotas of Nemechek and Bell. Van Gisbergen back on track in 8th, and the Toyotas of Bubba Wallace and Riley Herbst will get the final stage points here. And Michael McDowell, right at the line, pops up into 10th spot and grabs that final point away from Bubba Wallace.
I think that this is the way that racing championships should be decided. I think every week matters, and you know, the win in your in scenario was great. And now, you know, yesterday we saw Kyle Larson come back on the racetrack 84 laps down, and to try to get one extra point possibly as that race ended. He lost the regular season championship by 1 point last year. And, you know, I think when you start to see those things, every moment matters now with the way that the chase format is.
Check out the all-new Fox Sports digital show Speed with Harvick and Buxton, fueled by Poet. Subscribe to Speed on Fox on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, here was the race for the final stage point. You think points aren't important? Watch this.
Oh, yeah, they're close right here. You see McDowell on the inside, Riley Herbst on the outside, and Bubba Wallace is right there in the middle and just misses out on getting that final point.
A couple of drivers had trouble on pit road. Brad Keselowski slid through his pit. He is now 35th. And Noah Gragson, remember, we're pitting on the right side at the only time that we do that this year, and two of the crewmen ran into each other during the stop. So Gragson is at the back. 14 cars did not stop under green. Regan.
The plan from the start of the day for Joey Logano was to do what they could to get stage points in stage 1 and 2. That worked out in stage 1. Needs a little bit of turn in that car after lap 3. Josh?
Well, stage 1 winner Ross Chastain said overall that car just too tight. Said he felt like the rear suspension was falling out of it by the end of that run because of the tire wear, adjustment, 4 tires and fuel, Jamie.
Austin Cindric comes in fourth, said he's a little bit too tight overall, and they told him he's giving up the most time in 2 and 3. Air pressure adjustment to help the issues. 4 tires, stop for the 2.
Chastain, Logano, Blaney, the first drivers off pit road after this stop at the end of a caution-free stage number 1 in Watkins Glen. This summer, the biggest tournament on the planet comes to America, and you'll see it all right here on Fox. The 2026 FIFA World Cup kicks off June 11th on Fox and FS1. We're at the end of stage one, the shortest of 3 stages at Watkins Glen. 23 laps now complete. Shane Van Gisbergen has led 20 of the 23 laps. Ross Chastain the other 3. And Ty Gibbs was 8th before green flag pit stops. Got a big gain there. He is now 4th. John Hunter Nemechek's crew was over the wall too soon. He will restart at the back. And biggest movers, the RCR cars jumped up a bunch, along with front row Zane Smith and Noah Gragson and the Wood Brothers' Josh Berry.
Yeah, you see Austin Dillon up there in 8th spot, and Tyler Reddick, you know, we saw him earlier passing for 14th spot. He's up in 6th, so got some new players up at the front.
Yeah, remember Austin Dillon stopped. He was the first driver to pit road back at lap 11. Yes, lap 11. Go bowling as part of the festivities here at Watkins Glen International. Regan Smith joined Michael McDowell at the Go Bowling lanes in the infield. They got to celebrate everything that makes bowling so popular, whether you're bowling with friends, family, or even with NASCAR drivers.
You a good bowler, Clint?
I like bowling.
You do?
Goes hand in hand with a good cold beer.
I'm trying to think. Chuck looks like a good bowler, don't you?
No.
No.
23 complete as they line up for the restart, and McDowell, Van Gisbergen side by side again. Michael McDowell is the only driver here that had any luck in staying with SVG in stage 1.
I agree with you, but keep an eye on this cat right here in the 45 car. He talked about how disappointed he was in his qualifying run, how much confidence he had in his race car, and he's marching to the front. Started 15th.
I'm interested to see if Zilisch can take off with these guys and keep pace. About to find out.
And we are back to green for stage 2.
Yeah, you see how late that SVG takes off in that restart zone. He did that on the start as well, and the leader has that option anywhere in that whole box.
Well, they were 3 wide into turn 1 back at 6th place.
Yeah, and these are, you saw them out there cleaning the track a little bit, but this is really when those marbles come into play, when you have to run side by side through some of these corners.
That is a very good point, Kevin. Those marbles that we saw on the outside, when you're too wide, you have to run through them, and it takes a while to clean those off your tires. It's not just a corner or two, sometimes even a lap.
Yeah, if you get all 4 tires up in those marbles when it's, oh, we see some contact right there with Cole Custer and Carson Hocevar. More contact in the back. Zane Smith in the 38 and Kyle Larson, you see him.
Larson is still in trouble.
He's still struggling.
And here comes Blaney way to the inside, and Larson shaking the car back and forth like he might have a tire or wheel issue.
Or those marbles that we talked about.
Yeah, good point on that, Clint. You know, typically you would shake the car around like that if you thought something was wrong, but with those marbles, and now he's still stuck in that second lane. No matter how they clean it up, you're still collecting all those marbles.
The first 9 exited the bus stop single file, got a little gap, but the rest of the field was able to bake that up back on the return to the start-finish line.
You were all over it, Kevin. I see Zilisch putting some pressure on McDowell for second.
Yeah, and I feel like McDowell and Van Gisbergen want to be patient. I'm not so sure that Zilisch has that same patience in him yet, knowing the expectations and everything that go with him.
Bottom of the screen, Kyle Larson roughed up Brad Keselowski, and Keselowski is just enough off pace that he's a hindrance.
He's a lot off pace. Look at him stacking up behind him everywhere.
SVG said during his media availability earlier this weekend that if you get in the marbles, it could cost you about 3 seconds a lap for as many as 3 laps before you got those tires cleaned off again.
think you might see a move to the inside for Zilisch right here. I wouldn't want to pounce on him as fast as I possibly can, try to make this pass. Here he comes to the inside. Then I'm going to go out there, stretch my lead out on him a little bit and start managing my tires then. But try to make the pass while you still have some goodie left in your Goodyears.
Textbook pass there, and I like that McDowell let him go. If you're going to get past, don't you want to do it where it's going to take the least amount of add to your lap time?
Yes, sir, and that is a good point, but I also want him to go up there as that young Ricky and put pressure on that guy that I'm having trouble with, SVG. Let him run his tires off.
Well, you got to go up there and get a good measuring stick on where you are, right? Like, where is your car? Where is he better? Be close enough to be able to analyze his car and say, okay, he's better through the center of the corner. I don't have as much grip. Am I going to fall off when he is? What do I want the pace to be? I don't want to just sit back here and ride, or do I? Do I want to take his experience and not let him know what I have to keep him from making his car better?
You're starting to see a little bit of what I thought we may see and alluded to earlier in the show with Gibbs, Toyota, Reddick, Toyota. They have been making more grip week in and week out in 2026 than most cars. I think you're starting to see them inch to the front.
Team Trackhouse first, second, and 19th right now because Ross Chastain took the alternate strategy of staying out to win the stage. And we'll see how long it takes him to get back into contention, or if he can. He's made it to 18th.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see. I want to see how these guys can get themselves back through the field with that tire advantage. We think that the tire advantage is going to be bigger than what we thought it was last year, and I think that's definitely showed us that that's the case. So Ross Chastain having 3 laps fresher tires, 4 laps fresher tires than some guys. Just depends on when they pitted, but it's definitely going to make a difference, and especially when we get to the end of these runs.
We were watching that Larson-Keselowski dust up, and look at how many spots they each lost since the restart. Wow. Brad back in 36th place after all that sorted out.
Yeah, you see Logano right there. He's also one of those cars that pitted, and Connor Zilisch right now putting some pressure on our leader.
NASCAR's current best road racer versus NASCAR's rookie phenom, and they both drive for the same team. That is the best breakfast in town right there. Place been there a long, long time. Good food. We're in the Go Bowling at the Glen, stage 2, working 12 of 30 laps. Shane Van Gisbergen has led all but 3. The 3 laps after he pitted under green, surrendering the lead to Ross Chastain, who won the stage. Chastain, when we last checked on him, was in 18th place, and that's where he runs right now, as Van Gisbergen and Zilisch are 1-2. Larry?
Yeah, Mike, I've been looking at the data on Van Gisbergen in the 97 and Zilisch in the 88 as far as throttle, brake, shift points. They pretty much are overlaying. But when I look at differential around the racetrack, they're pretty equal. But just like qualifying yesterday, Gisbergen has the advantages, especially from the middle of the bus stop off. He gets through it and gets off a little better than Connor Zilisch.
You know what, though? I am impressed with Connor Zilisch. I know they're in the same equipment, same race cars, but he is keeping him honest. That's a 99 to a 95. It was a 63 to a 61. They have been right there, but Kevin, you know as well as I do, the closer you run to that race car, the more you wear your stuff out.
Yeah, everything gets hot, and I think that's why you're going to see Connor Zilisch dip out right here when you get to the straightaway, just to try to get a breath of air every once in a while. Sometimes you'll do that to make the guy think that you're looking inside, but I'm not so sure that those types of tricks aren't going to work on that the 97 car of SVG. Regan?
Well, Kevin, when you see the 88 car of Connor Zilisch running in second place right there, this is almost a perfect scenario for what he and the team wanted for today. The goal was to get in a position to where they could be behind Shane Van Gisbergen, follow him, figure out exactly how to pace these tires in this Cup car, which is different than the cars that he's been running up until this point at Watkins Glen. Right now, he's just told the team that, yes, I am managing my brakes, I'm managing my tires. They've been on the radio continuously reminding him about that. And when you think about the pressure that 88 team is under to have a good performance today, they told me all that matters to us is to make sure Connor is having fun. The rest will take care of itself. Josh?
Well, Ty Gibbs currently running in the 4th position. Traditionally, he's been good on road courses, but they've had their struggles here at Watkins Glen. Just one top 10 finish for Ty Gibbs here. So Tyler Allen identified a number of areas they can get better at, and one of those is setting up the car a little bit better. They've been too free in the past. Came over the radio at the end of that first run, said once again he was just too free to make the moves that he wants to in this race. The team also reminding him that this stage 5 laps longer, preserve his tires, Jamie.
And Josh, just behind him, Tyler Reddick in the 45, up 10 spots since the start of this race. This has been a challenging road course for Tyler, and I talked to his crew chief, Billy Scott. He said they applied something at Circuit of the Americas earlier in the season that worked. Obviously, he went to Victory Lane. They were able to apply that here. The car so far, so good, but he did get some damage on the left front down into turn 1 earlier. The crew checked it out. All looks good. They made an air pressure adjustment to help him out.
Thanks, Jamie. There's Reddick in 5th, ahead of Austin Dillon, the first car to make a pit stop under green, which was at lap 15. Now, fastest through the bus stop. Look at these times on average of the laps that we have run under green. Van Gisbergen with a 10th on the field there. McDowell and Gibbs fairly close, but as you've been saying all day, Kevin, there's his advantage right there.
Well, that's SVG's advantage, but it sure looks like we found one of the most important sections on the racetrack based upon the running order and fastest bus stops times. They're identical.
38 drivers all still on the lead lap. We're running lap 14 of 30 in stage 2 of 3.
Next weekend, NASCAR heads to Dover, home of the 2026 All-Star Race. The Truck Series kicks off the weekend Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on FS1. On Saturday, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series will hit the track at 4 p.m. Eastern on the CW. And Sunday, the Cup Series All-Stars will battle it out for $1 million at 1 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
At Watkins Glen, 17 laps out of 30 in stage 2. The final stage will be 50 laps, with Shane Van Gisbergen out in front of teammate Connor Zilisch by about the same 0.6 of a second that it's been. Now they've just gone through the inner loop, is the official name of what we call the bus stop. That's what it looks like there at the end of that back straightaway. And let's look at our two leaders and use our ghost car to compare them there.
Yeah, and what you're actually going to see is Connor's going to have a little more straightaway speed down here. Might drive it in just a little bit harder before he hits the brakes right there. But you see just a little bit more roll speed right through the center right there, a little bit lower, pointed better in the second half of that second left-hander, and that carries all the way to the carousel and gains him a car length pretty much every lap.
One thing that excites me though is what we're seeing out of that rookie Connor Zilisch. He had the excitement, we all heard the hype. Can anybody run with SVG? And the hope was it was Connor Zilisch, and he's proven that today. If that SVG slips one wheel anywhere, he's going to be there for the taking. It's keeping him honest for sure.
Well, what would it take to beat SVG today? We asked him. There's yesterday.
I think it's going to take a perfect day to win on Sunday. It's not easy to make mistakes and still win the race. You see it with Shane at the road courses all the time. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't put himself in silly positions. You know, the challenge of going out and trying to beat him is one that I really enjoy.
If Connor Zilisch leads a lap here today, it will be his first in the Cup Series. Here's his radio.
Keep taking care of your stuff, man. We're going to go longer this run than the last one. Just remember that. Yeah, I know. I'm taking it easy. Copy that. No pressure out back.
No pressure. The next car is 5.5 seconds behind him.
Yeah, and honestly, that kind of puts a little bit of a damper into SVG's plans, because I think when he has somebody pushing him, he has to run a little more pace than he probably wants to run. Now, caution.
And caution is out. The first caution for cause today.
Uh-oh.
And there is the debris.
What's that, Kevin?
Well, it looks something has obviously blown onto the racetrack. Not sure where it came from.
Well, we can show you.
Oh.
Whoa.
Somebody's canopy or part
like
of their campground area went awry, and away it went.
We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Well, yeah, but you see a lot of things like this in Kansas.
That was like one of those wind tornadoes or something went through there.
Yeah, and then it blows all the way out onto the racetrack.
Well, there's a soaring center not far from here where you can go fly gliders, but yikes. Just when you think you've seen everything. We're under caution for flying debris at Watkins Glen. We're under caution at Watkins Glen with 10 to go in stage 2. What do we do here, Larry?
Yeah, Mike, there's going to be 9 to go when they get around here with the pits open. If you're going to flip the stage, you were going to come 3 or 4 laps from now. Anyhow, I think if you want to win this race, you better pit now and flip this stage. But we know some near the back, they're going to stay out and try to score these points.
Probably a guy like that, Chastain. I mean, you're lying in the bed you made now. Went after them stage points. It worked for the first stage. Look for him to stay out, maybe try to capitalize again on stage point.
And these are the types of moments, if you have another quick caution or something happen, that can totally flip these races upside down.
Look at that. McDowell stays out.
Regan?
Well, there's never a question for the 88 Connor Zilisch. What they would do is immediately pit when we get around to here. The car's still too tight to the rights. It's a little better to the lefts now. Josh?
The call for the 54 was M&M. They came in to pit here. The biggest complaint for Ty Gibbs was just getting too free towards the end of those runs, Jamie.
Shane Van Gisbergen's led 38 laps today. He said the tires are wearing, but they're not bad at all. He wondered if this was too soon to come, but they said, I think everybody's coming. We need to come in. 4 tire stop for Shane Van Gisbergen.
7 or 8 cars stayed out on track, and we will document this and sort it out for you when we come back.
I think that's the moment we've all been waiting for from Hendrick Motorsports, as far as the speed to go with. They did a great job at Martinsville, but they didn't dominate that race, and he took control of this race and made it happen. So great day for Chase. Elliott won 2 races as early in the year as he's ever won multiple races in a season, so could be dangerous.
Join Kevin and the crew every Tuesday and Thursday for Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour. Now 6 cars stayed on track and did not pit. McDowell, Suarez, Bell, Wallace, Nemechek, and Herbst. Michael McDowell questioned Travis Peterson on staying out, and here's what the crew chief told him.
I want you to understand, this is the way we win this race. These guys are going to have to put 9 laps on their tires. They're either going to flip it again, just like we're going to here in about 7 laps, or we're going to have way better tires than them. This is the move. It was not going to follow them down and win this race. Yep, copy.
Well, you know, I think if everybody stays out on the racetrack, he's going to come out 31st or so.
And most of them are, and it's going to be about 4 to 5 laps because they were going to flip the stage and pit with 2 or 3 to go anyhow.
Yeah, that's going to be I don't know. We'll have to see how it works out, but odds are a little against you.
Did you play marbles as a kid?
I did.
Well, it's no fun in a race car at this age. Listen to this radio remix.
Had one of the cars in the back already throw off a big chunk of rubber. I don't think it'll bring you yellow, but just picking up rubber that bad already.
Yeah, 10-4. He said he's starting to see some marbles.
Copy that.
Marbles.
Just the first lap the tires started to go.
We just had the same thing. Just try to stay in the lane. Don't get in the marbles. I think that's what the 20 did.
Well, there you go, and that's exactly what we were talking about. That's what we heard about and saw in practice. Rear grip issues on these long runs. Rear grip starts going away, get loose, and those marbles. You do not want to get on a restart too wide getting the marbles. They've picked a lot of them up. It kind of self-cleans a little bit, but look at them just coming off the tires as they're cleaning their tires up around that bottom groove. You can see all those
That's
marbles.
the hard part as you go on these restarts. You have no choice but to go on the second lane into these marbles. So they clean them up the best that they can under the caution, but when you're double wide, you're still going to pick some up.
And what happens there, those hot tires hit that, and it just kicks right on top of that, sticks to your tires for a couple laps, and it's like you're on ice.
So the Spire Motorsports Chevys will restart first, second, and Hocevar back in 21st as we get ready to finish off stage 2 here. They'll take the green with 7 to go. Chase Briscoe had to jack up his car twice and drop from 8th to 20th on the pit stop. Here we go.
You can already see SVG down on the bottom, trying to get work done quick. Here he comes.
Yeah, and this is really when you'll start to see Riley Herbst get outside 3 wide and got tagged from that middle car. Didn't know that they were 3 wide right there, it looked like to me.
I think that was Nemechek was the meat and the sandwich there with Van Gisbergen on the bottom.
And watch what SVG will be able to do going into that bus stop. Still double wide back there, more contact.
Connor Zilisch getting mired back in traffic. Didn't get through him quite as good as his teammate.
See him just able to throw that car in there and make that pass. Tyler Reddick gets shoved wide, but
whoa, one around. That is William Byron. He gets hit by Blaney, and look at them scramble out of the bus stop. We stay green. Byron gets it refired and drives away.
Gosh, that could have been way worse, guys. With William Byron turned around in the middle of that pack like that, whole field.
Right rear toe link spent, guys.
So he will limp back to pit road as McDowell brings them back to the start-finish line. With a second on Suarez, Bubba Wallace under fire from Van Gisbergen now for third.
Yeah, and this is the advantage that Shane has. He's able to just let his foot off the brake and modulate that brake pedal unlike anybody else.
Suarez, Van Gisbergen, Wallace for second. And Reddick with them. A gap back to Christopher Bell. Nemechek, Gibbs, Dillon, and Busch the top 10.
Yeah, and you were right on that 45 car, Clint. I mean, he's found his way through traffic better than Connor Zilisch, and he's able to put himself right in a position right here to be with that 97 car of SVG. So every time we go through these cycles, you start to see this field get a little bit different at the front of the pack, and that's Tyler Reddick that's put himself in that spot now.
William Byron makes his way to his pit stall as Van Gisbergen dispatches Suarez.
Yeah, and he's going to go up there and win this stage.
Well, let's go back to the inner loop and show you what happened that ended up with William Byron turned around.
Yeah, we saw everybody get jammed up going through the infield. See Reddick wide right there. He hit the inside wall, and then you just see contact.
I think it was Chris Buescher that got into Byron. Buescher was over onto the grass, come back up into the track and got into Byron. Spun him around, but even before that, I even saw Reddick side by side. I don't know if he clipped that inside wall, but he was oh so close.
Yeah.
That's how these restarts get chaotic when you have tires and no tires staying out. That's where this place can wreak havoc on a driver, like SVG coming up through. Zilisch was right in the middle of this. Look at this. They're everywhere. Oh, it was close. Right in Blaney's lap.
Now, top of the screen, one car missed the bus stop. And when that happens, you have to come to a complete stop on the straightaway. That was Christopher Bell.
Yeah, you saw those two cars in front of him.
Here's a look at that. Now 3 wide into there.
He not only missed, he flat spotted his tire really bad.
Yeah, and really a car that we expect to be up front and contending, and just hadn't seen that today. Wasn't able to make his way up through the field. Now a big mistake.
Cindric there, the two trying to regain some ground inside of Suarez, and he might bring Briscoe with him. Battling back at 9th place now.
And those last few replays, I mean, that's really just, that's middle of the pack racing. I mean, there is contact, there are things happening, people sliding in the dirt. Look at that, Clint. I mean, just absolutely demolished the 71 car with the tire advantage as well. But as we saw from yesterday in qualifying, and we've seen as he's going through traffic, he's just able to manage the brakes and drive in further than anybody to make those passes.
Larry, coming to the stage end here, will anybody flip this stage? What do you see here?
Well, if you're back in the pack, I don't see why you wouldn't and get fresh tires, but you're going to have to come this time. The 97 is pretty convinced the 71 is going to flip the stage. He can run one more lap. He can run to 2 to go.
McDowell has not been to pit road since lap 17. He's going to run another lap.
Free to go right here. Free to go.
Going to the end of the stage and getting points to maintain our tire advantage because nobody else was coming this time. Finish third for me here. Only one car out back. You're 20.
There it is. Points outweigh that decision. We're going to stay out. Go for these stage points.
Pretty impressed what he's done on 15-lap tires, though.
Yeah, and I think that kind of could bode bad for him as we go down the road here, Larry, because that means everybody else should probably be able to do it, and that's why it's been a little bit difficult to pass when these guys get buried in the back of the field.
Nemechek, Berry, Ty Dillon, and Gilliland came to pit road with 3 to go in stage 2. Now Ross Chastain, remember Chastain won stage 1, stayed out, restarted deep in the field. Chastain hasn't quite made it back into point standing territory, but he's up to 12th.
You see McDowell slipping around off the carousel there. It's going to be a tall order to hold these cars up. If one gets under you, 2 or 3 or 4 might get you. Here comes Busch to the inside of Wallace.
Yeah, and Kyle Busch has quietly had a pretty good day to start this race, trying to ameliorate his situation from last week to put himself in a better spot to get a good finish.
Yeah, he's had an excellent day. Andy Street told me this morning, he said their only difficulty is that they were starting deep in the field. They've overcome that.
And that's my point. What I was trying to talk about, one gets under you, 2 is going to get under you. Dillon to the inside. That's 2 more spots. Here comes Busch.
And it happens so fast, Clinton, when you start to get in traffic and now you miss the corner because you were in the marbles.
We're in trouble.
In the corner before, and your tires are worn out, and now you're going down the back straightaway and they're going 100 miles an hour faster than you. It just piles on.
And just like that, as we look from the BuildSubmarines.com cam, on board Chris Buescher in 6th. Just like that, Richard Childress Racing has 2 cars in the top 5 here at the end of stage 2.
Yeah, they've done a great job with Austin Dillon's car of having some strategy work out for them, but also then being able to have the speed to keep themselves up there. And Kyle Busch, he's had a decent pace all day. So yeah, great day going for RCR. Just need to finish it off.
Let's finish it this time. That's right. Another one getting underneath McDowell back there in the back. He may slide clear out of any points.
McDowell is 8th. 4.5 back of the lead, and Connor Zilisch has climbed up into the points as we get to the end of stage 2. as he runs side by side with Bubba Wallace down into turn 1 and right behind Michael McDowell.
It's almost like when the 71 was in clean air, he was okay. When he got past and in traffic, that's when those old tires just went away.
It's one thing if it was 1 or 2 laps. That's just too much to ask out of that. I'm actually surprised once he saw that slip up that he didn't pull him down pit road. Too late now.
Yeah, because now you're going to also be behind all the guys that short pitted and going to flip the stage.
Comes Briscoe to the inside.
The other car that hadn't been on pit road since lap 17 was Daniel Suarez. He's back in 28th as we finish off this stage.
Did you see how close he was to that guardrail?
Well, you got to be right next to it, because the further that you can get to the right to that guardrail, the more that you can straighten out those left-handers and really make that thing line up perfect for you. But SVG got to pit road. He's been in control of this race the whole time, Mike.
He's got a new one to hold off now, though, with Reddick.
Off the final corner for the final lap of stage number 2. Shane Van Gisbergen gets his first stage win since the Charlotte Roval last October. Reddick, Gibbs, Dillon and Busch 4 and 5. Busch are the first Ford with Cindric right behind him. And for the last stage point, Bubba Wallace held off Ross Chastain and Michael McDowell. Shane Van Gisbergen, stage 2 winner. Stage 2 is complete at Watkins Glen. Van Gisbergen won it. Here's the battle for the last stage points behind 9th place Briscoe, close at the line, and give that final point to Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, not Michael McDowell. And, you know, they stayed out to get stage points and got 0 out of it. So we'll see how this strategy works out when everybody's has the option to pit, but not looking good. Jamie?
Well, Shane Van Gisbergen's team has already pitted him twice. They've been steady today, done a good job. They haven't been the fastest on pit road this year, but they're only one of 3 teams that have not made a mistake, and they're a good group of guys. Let's meet Team 97.
Brendan Foley, tire carrier. I'm my mom's favorite.
Evan Marshall, gas man. There's nothing fun about me. I work in accounting. Happy Mother's Day out there, and hey, William.
Austin Holland, tire changer. I sold lady shoes before I got into NASCAR. Happy Mother's Day, moms.
Jared Newsom, rear tire changer, and I like racing horses.
Marshall McFadden, Jack Man. I'm fearful of raccoons because they got thumbs.
Hey, they're doing exactly what we needed them to do. Don't need you to be the fastest. I just don't need any mistakes out of there. Just what the doctor ordered. Perfect, guys.
Accounting.
An accountant and a women's shoe salesman.
Yeah.
Guys, I think we'll see some split stuff go on right here. I think if you're way back in the pack, you may come to pit road and get 4 fresh tires. But if I'm up front, I'm staying out. I'm going to get inside that fuel window, and then we'll make our pit stop.
Look at here. Psych.
Yeah, a little psych job there. None of the first half dozen or so come to pit road. No takers. I think that's Bubba Wallace, the first one onto pit road. Regan.
Michael McDowell's team had been on the wall with 3 laps to go, planning to pit, and then obviously they decided to stay out, lost those stage points as it worked out there. Tighter through the right-handers and snapping loose through the lefts. Josh?
Well, I can tell you Bubba Wallace was really happy to get that final stage point there. Happy with the car, just 4 tires and fuel for the 23, Jamie.
The leaders.
Bubba Wallace leads him off pit road after a fill-up with Sunoco race fuel with Poet Zero Carbon Bioethanol and some fresh Goodyear Eagles. The front runners did not pit, and that includes Stage 2 winner Shane Van Gisbergen.
Race back at the Glen with Jamie McMurray, Chris Myers, and after stage 2, you know, coming in, 37-year-old New Zealander and a 19-year-old rookie were the favorites in this race. Shane Van Gisbergen has led the most laps, but Ross Chastain taking stage 1. It's his 3rd stage win this year, still chasing that elusive first victory. The only caution to come out other than that during the stages was the wind blowing a tent that actually got onto the track. I kept waiting for Bob Pockres to kind of sneak out of there with some kind of a scoop.
Yeah, then we saw a little action here in the bus stop. I think Buescher got into the back of William Byron. You saw contact from Blaney right there, tore the suspension up on the back of the 24. He limped it back to the garage, but Shane Van Gisbergen went on to win stage 2.
Yeah, so Connor Zilisch and SVG, it looks like a 2-horse race the rest of the way, or does maybe Tyler Reddick have a little late race magic like he did on the last road course when he was first and SVG wound up second?
Don't want to count Reddick out for sure. I think you got to keep your eye on Connor Zilisch. The other thing to keep in mind here is McDowell has pitted. Tires have made a huge difference. Now, I don't know if he can drive from 25th back to the front, but if we get a long green flag run here and they have to make green flag pit stops, there's such a amount of tire fall off here. It can make a huge difference, Chris, when these guys decide to pit and how long those cars can hang on.
Yeah, Van Gisbergen has won 5 of the last 6 road courses. The only one he didn't win in that stretch was the one that Tyler Reddick did win. All right, let's go back to the booth.
Thanks, Chris. Here's a look at the inner loop, or the bus stop, there at the end of the back straightaway from our aerial coverage, brought to you by Goodyear. Legends aren't born, they're proven. Out of there, quick squirt into the carousel, right down against the curbing, and then head back toward the start-finish line. 47 laps to go. And Tyler Reddick has been one of NASCAR's best restarters this season.
And Ty Gibbs has one of the best pit crews. We've seen that crew gain a lot of positions on pit road. They'll have that in their playbook when we get to this pit stop when they decide to do it. There's going to be some strategy on in a big way for this 3rd stage.
And we don't know what that 45 car has, and even that 54 car of Ty Gibbs, now that they're on the back bumper of that 97 car of SVG. So this is going to give us another measuring stick, and it's not the 88 of Connor Zilisch. He fell back to 8th.
Let's point out those RCR cars 4th and 5th. That's a good day going for them. Let's bring it home.
All right, stage 3. Longest stage of the day at 50 laps. It will require a pit stop. The question will be when. Here we go, back to green for the final stage at Watkins Glen.
Everybody's been pretty clean off of turn 1 today. It's like they're all pretty nervous about those tire packs out there. These guys have done a great job to be able to not tear anything up yet.
Well, I think that means those tire packs are doing exactly what they needed to do, and that serves a good purpose there. I didn't like when they could run off the track like that. Reddick putting the pressure on him. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah, when we interviewed Tyler Reddick before the race, I mean, you could just hear the confidence as you see just a Congo line of cars back here, just nose to tail.
Well, Chastain went after Briscoe side by side going into the inner loop, and there he got the spot. So move Chastain up to 9th. Ryan Preece to the inside of Denny Hamlin and holds on to that spot. Richard Childress Racing, both cars in the top 5, Regan.
Well, Mike, things going very well, as you just mentioned right now, for Richard Childress Racing. The 3-car of Austin Dillon, been pleased with the car since the start of the race, has told crew chief Richard Boswell such. And when you think back to Texas last week, maybe a little momentum builder for that 3-car. They started in the rear, got a solid top 20 result out of it. And then the 8-car of Kyle Busch, much similar, has been very good all day. A little bit tight early on, but they've been making good adjustments on that car. He's liked where it's at. And that's another team that last week, I know the race didn't end that it wanted to, but Andy Street had mentioned that things went well, and it motivated all these guys and had everybody pumped up all weekend. It is showing on track right now.
Well, they've also done a good job navigating the strategy side of this race, right? And that goes back to not only the crew chiefs on that box, but the war room back at home, Kevin.
Yeah, and when you have the speed in your race cars to be able to keep up like this, you know, I think for Austin Dillon, and the off-track stuff hasn't been a problem. But it's really important to control the message for that 8 car off the racetrack and on the radio, because if they had great performance last week and they've got good performance again this week, you need that to be the story. So great job getting those cars running good this week.
Chevrolet, 3 of the first 5 spots. Van Gisbergen and the RCR cars of Austin Dillon and Busch.
I see another name up there that's quietly crept up into that 6th place, Chris Buescher. We know he can get the job done here, just doing the things that he does best, taking care of business, staying smooth, staying on the racetrack, and not making mistakes. Look at that, 14th, 18th, 10th, 6th. Here we go.
Everything he does is quiet, Clint, and he just always gets the job done. We've seen him in victory lane outdueling the best currently at Cup Road Racing SVG, so he knows. You're exactly right. He knows exactly how to get it done to get to victory lane here.
Quarter door.
Connor Zilisch
Right side.
takes a spot away from Buescher, whose teammate Preece is 12th, and team leader Brad Keselowski having a tough day, 37th, but hanging on to the lead lap.
Yeah.
Now, Tyler Reddick running right with Shane Van Gisbergen for the lead, Jamie.
Yeah, and I have both of those drivers, so I've been listening to both radios. Under caution, Shane Van Gisbergen asked his team what was going on with Reddick. How good was he? They let him know that he was behind him. Reddick, though, listening to his radio, he said the balance is really good. He said, honestly, I don't know what I can do to be any faster. So got a good car. It's just a matter of handling it from here. Adjustments for air pressure, and that's it.
43 laps to go in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. Shane Van Gisbergen in command.
There is some debris on the surface.
Welcome back to Watkins Glen, where Joey Logano has had trouble. He's lost a tire, and it ends up on the track, and the yellow flag waves for the fourth time today.
Yeah, and I think that the tire's actually against the guardrail, but that rocker panel, Mike, was coming apart so bad, I don't think they had any choice but to throw the caution. See that left front tire right here. I don't know if it was down before he got onto the brakes, but
it looked like it was. Larry, this warms things up in the old pit box, doesn't it?
Well, we got 40 laps to go. We're probably about a lap or two from opening pit road. Gonna go back racing probably with what, about 36 to go. I think you got to come here and try to save a little bit. A lot of cars still on the lead lap.
So officially the caution is for debris. Logano makes it to pit road to make repairs. Everybody's still on the lead lap except William Byron, who will get the free pass. Regan.
Yeah, Mike, just to add on the 22 of Joey Logano, about 2 laps ago, he came on the radio and said he felt like something was breaking in the front end of that car, and then it was shortly thereafter we saw that flat left front tire. I'm looking at the wheels. It comes off of the car right now. The wheel looks fine, so maybe something else more wrong going with that 22.
Joey is on a stretch, the worst of his career since his rookie season. He's finished 30th or worse the last 3 races. Now that little windstorm, that little mini tornado that picked up that tent, put it on the racetrack, well, the wind has caught the attention of the drivers today. Here's a radio remix.
There's like a mini tornado going on here, and it was picking up everything in its sight. It picked up 2 tents and threw one on the track. Dang, that thing was high, too. No, it was nuts. It was huge. It was throwing all over the place on the backstretch. Gnarly. Oh, do you see this tornado in the infield? Yeah, I'm watching it. So on top of the S's, there's a tent that's flying.
Yeah, a lot of the spotters over there having some chatter back and forth. You actually bring multiple spotters to the racetrack right here. So as much as the crew chief and spotter typically talk on the radio, now you have to listen to 3 or 4 spotters. With a lot of airtime, Clint.
Well, let me tell you, keep an eye on this pit road. SVG's crew has been good. They haven't been great.
And it is open this time, guys.
Yes, sir. 54 has been great. 45, 5 races won. Puts the pressure on SVG's pit crew.
Yeah, and I think you're right. The best pit crew is that 54, as we've seen most of the day right now.
The first 2 faint, and the others inside the commit box and headed for pit road. Regan.
Connor Zilisch continues to try to battle his way back after losing a little track position early on. Right now he is as tight as he's been all day through the right-handers. He needs some help with the rights. Had been a little loose early in the lefts. That's not a problem now, though.
Larry, do you like it?
They're going to be way back. They've got a pit. They've got a pit, and it looks like to me it's not going to be long after we go back racing. But we had so many that came to pit road there that I think that actually can make it from here if you save enough under this caution.
All right, the cars that came to pit road fill up with Sunoco race fuel with Poet Zero Carbon Bioethanol. And we have 39 laps to go in Watkins Glen. It's been an eventful day so far. We're just 2 weeks away from the greatest spectacle in racing. It's the Indianapolis 500. Only on Fox Sunday, May 24th. All the pageantry, tradition, and excitement of Indy. Don't miss it. Here at Watkins Glen, a couple of developing stories under caution. Riley Herbst too fast entering pit road. He'll restart at the back. Only one car off the lead lap is William Byron 3 laps down. And Kyle Busch has been suffering from a sinus cold all week. Lost 5 spots on that pit stop. He has asked to have medical attention available after the race. Here's his radio.
And can somebody try to find Bill Heisel? He's the Hendrick doctor guy. Tell him I need him after the race, please. Hey, do you want Mr. Bill at your car or at your bus after the race? Bus. I'm gonna need a shot. Copy. He'll be at your bus.
Racing can't be any fun when your head is completely stuffed up like that.
It's the worst.
Had a good day coming into this pit stop with both RCR cars up into the top 5.
Well, this race has been flipped upside down a couple times, and you don't know if that's going to be the end of it too. You just don't know how these cautions are going to fall, when they're going to fall, and we've seen them fall in unique spots.
Well, there's one thing that we do know. Larry just told us that those first 2 cars must pit. They haven't pitted yet, Allmendinger, obviously, but the cars that just pitted, they can maybe make it to the end. Without a caution, these guys in the front are in trouble.
Van Gisbergen, the 97, he can probably go to about lap 75. I would try to lay down about 12 to 13 qualifying laps and just build as much lead as I can.
He might do just that. Here's SVG's comments from earlier this weekend.
Not with the tires like they are. I think there's going to be a lot of strategy tomorrow, and a lot of execution. Like we saw, Connor made a mistake and just got half a car wide in the marbles, and then he lost 3 seconds for the next few laps. So it's all going to be about executing, and I think there's going to be a lot of variables tomorrow. So yeah, I don't think it's an easy race for sure, like we've had in the past. Straight, never easy, but straightforward. I don't think it's going to be like that tomorrow.
SVG's comments after winning the pole yesterday. Van Gisbergen's Chevy and Reddick's Toyota will share the front row for the restart. Allmendinger up there in 3rd, along with Wallace, McDowell, Nemechek on a little slightly different pit strategy. And here we go it'll be 37 laps to go at the line. Allmendinger's going to get a spot here, and they're side by side for the lead entering the corner.
Always amazes me that on these road courses, A.J. Allmendinger just finds a way to get himself towards the front at the end of these races.
Zilisch up the outside, side by side. Here's the dive into the bus stop. A lot of brake lock up there. And on the outside of Cindric, that's Christopher Bell fighting hard. Bell restarted 14th, was 25th, and pitted for fuel only.
And that tells you how tight this fuel window is. Clint and I were just trying to figure this out, and we're not very smart, but it looks like they're going to be right on the edge. And with those guys that pitted to get that extra fuel, it's going to make it close.
Yeah, you're talking. Larry told us pit window at 34 to 36, somewhere right in there. They only got to go 37. That's their play. They're going for it.
Oh, you have to.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on Gibbs. Gibbs is your first car on tires. We'll have to watch that progression. Here he is right here. He's going to try to, he has a long ways to go on these tires though. Manage your tires. Try to pounce on them quick early when the goodie's still in these tires, but mind your PCQs. Do not slide a tire.
Yeah, and I think you want to get all you can get right here to try to get yourself in a position to get around as many of these cars as possible, because you've got Connor Zilisch right behind you, 2 cars behind you, and that's really who Ty Gibbs is racing right now for that lead once all these guys pit. Hear that rev limiter right there, headed into turn 6.
Nothing coming out back. 3-3.
Now Connor Zilisch, the 88, just had a right front lockup.
Oh, and that's a long ways.
Pretty good one. Right into the bus stop. That's exactly what you try not to do earlier in these runs.
Every time I did that, I just wound up going slower. These kids and these guys that are on the edge like that all the time. Yesterday we saw him rip the splitter, half the splitter off the car, and still came back and won the race in the O'Reilly Series race yesterday. So always on the edge.
We are all over SVG's playbook. He's trying to qualifying laps, getting out there as fast as I could possibly go. And he's doing everything he can do.
And Allmendinger in that green car getting closer and closer to Tyler Reddick.
Clint, you may have said it. That was the fastest lap he's run in the race right there.
There you go.
And that just tells you how much he's been just pacing himself throughout the day. Shane Van Gisbergen is one of the best at underplaying how good he is and the car that he has and ever showing his hand. He has to be a great poker player, because when it's time to go, that guy can put laps down on the board that nobody saw coming.
Austin Dillon, 10th place. He is the 3rd of the cars that just took on tires, and here's what they're telling him.
All right, we need to be long gears here. Long gears everywhere we can. Short shifting and long gears everywhere we can.
Save fuel.
Look at this.
And those are
now you're seeing what that guy's really made out of.
Yeah, and those are on tires that had 17, 18 laps on them, right, Larry? I mean, those are lap times that I would have never thought that he could run at this point on that set of tires.
Yeah, Randall Burnett just told Connor Zilisch, don't worry about him. He's trying to bait us into run hard.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're pitting. If a caution comes out, it'll help that scenario. But if you're Gibbs, Connor Zilisch, and those other guys, you heard 3-car, save fuel.
I mean, if
Let
you're
him run.
Yeah, if you're Connor Zilisch and Gibbs, right? If you're Connor Zilisch, the only car you're racing right now is Ty Gibbs. The rest of these guys are pitting.
And now he's in your windshield. Next car.
Those are the 2 cars that stopped at lap 61, or the first of the 2 cars that stopped then. Briscoe having a look inside Dillon. They also stopped at the same time. And here comes Allmendinger on Tyler Reddick. Down to turn 2 and makes the pass. Now Allmendinger is kind of on a middle strategy. Van Gisbergen stopped at lap 41. Allmendinger 11 laps later. Ty Gibbs 9 laps after that.
Reddick's in trouble.
McDowell goes by for 3rd.
I heard that car bottom out on the curb, Kevin. It's hard to explain to people at home how hard and how bad that feels when it does that.
Yeah, I mean, those rub blocks on the bottom of the car, and that's why they cut that curb down at the inside into the bus stop, was because the cars were having 15 to 20 G impacts every time they would hit the ground. As you see, Connor Zilisch by Bubba Wallace.
So Zilisch up to 6th.
That's the 3rd or 4th time I've seen him lock that right front up. Well, he's got trouble coming with that right front tire.
You know how that goes, Clint. When you lock that tire up bad the first time, then it continuously finds that flat spot on the tire every time that you get in there and overbrake the car, and it finds that flat spot again and slides in the same spot.
And another position gained by Gibbs getting away from him. Yeah, and that's exactly right. It never gets better once you slide that tire.
Yeah, and if Gibbs can get himself into a spot where he can find a gap to run 2 or 3 laps at, you know, kind of a reduced rate, but
yes,
right now
that corner up, right?
Right now he's having a hard time because Connor Zilisch is right there behind him, kind of tick-tat, following him through traffic. So keeps a lot of pressure on him to not give up that track position. You want to maintain that track position to keep control of the race. But really, this is the race within the race between the 54 and 88.
I agree. This is not ideal for SVG. How can they beat him? Been dominant all day long. This is exactly how. Take advantage of opportunities.
So, Larry, when SVG does pit, if he has to pit under green, it's how far from the start of pit road until you exit and get back to speed?
Yellow line to yellow line. That doesn't include slowing down to get to the yellow line or getting up to speed, but yellow line to yellow line, including the stop, is somewhere around 40 seconds. We're hearing right now, they just told him about 3 or 4 laps ago about 10 more laps. So we expect to see him in the next 6 to 7 laps.
He's opened up a 4-second lead on the field with 31 laps to go.
At the top of your lungs till the windows break.
.29 laps to go. Tyler Reddick made a pit stop because he thought the contact between Josh Bilicki and Catherine Legg would bring out a caution. It has not. We stay green. Van Gisbergen with 5 seconds on A.J. Allmendinger. McDowell right behind. And the 45 of Reddick comes back on track in 34th.
Yeah, I think they took a little bit of a gamble right there for that little spin of the 78 car, Catherine Legg. So
he was in trouble too, though. Don't forget he had slipped up and dropping spots.
And his teammate is on pit road now, Bubba Wallace.
In line.
It's a good looking car.
It is a good
Bubba Wallace off of pit road. Larry, are we starting to worry?
You better believe I'm worried. I'm worried if I pitted that last caution, do I have enough to make it to the end? And I'm worried if I'm like Shane Van Gisbergen, Allmendinger, McDowell, if we don't get a caution, I don't know if we can make that kind of ground up because they've got to come to pit road.
And the other drivers who are in that boat, as you look down the laps since last pit, are Nemechek, Berry, and Suarez. Also probably going to need a stop. Cole Custer as well.
I mean, I'm in trouble. I'm worried regardless. Because even if the caution comes out, it's only going to help their cause, and I'm going to have to pass 3/4 of the field here. We're in trouble if I'm in the 97 car.
Still half here.
Ty Gibbs just needs to stay on racetrack. He's done such a good job all day long. Keep that 88 car at bay, manage that gap, and manage your tires. Long way to go with 27 laps to go.
Yeah, and it just makes me wonder what the 88 car behind him is doing. We're seeing him drop a little bit of pace compared to Ty Gibbs the lap before, but are they saving Larry?
Yeah, they're telling him the short shift, like we heard on another radio a while ago, short shift and run the gears long.
But what are they telling Michael McDowell, because he just took off, made the pass on Allmendinger to move up to second spot and is pulling away from these cars. McDowell, you heard Travis Peterson telling him what their plan was, what the strategy was, and now it looks like they've taken the reins off and McDowell's taking off.
Might as well. You got to pit no matter what.
Complete, 27 to go.
McDowell's last lap a couple of hundredths quicker than the leader.
I got to believe those that's not pitted, they're going to be in soon, because this would basically be about splitting everything in half.
Yeah, you got 24 of the 50 laps running this stage, so yeah, it's just it's an unfortunate position if all these guys wind up making it on fuel.
Well, when you have a car as fast and as dominant as that 97 is with Shane, you got to do opposite. Whatever they do, you do something different to differentiate yourself and give yourself a chance to get in front of them, and that's exactly what we see unfolding here today.
Well, Van Gisbergen, as you see on the graph on the left, has less fuel than anybody else on track. And Larry, if he pits under green, it seems like an insurmountable task to make that up unless everybody else has to pit. Here's Connor Zilich's radio.
Still need more if we're going to have to make it to the end here. That was a 4.45. Need like a 4.6 though on average.
Oh. McDowell is in.
All right, Kevin. I want you to tell the people at home how we save fuel on this racetrack.
Well, we heard Larry talk about the short shifting of the shifts that you can do. You know, I always like to try to get the thing off the corner, and then you'll actually do your shifts and then back the car off to 3/4, 5/8 throttle down the straightaway, because you'll lose less time that way by making the car go through the corners at the correct speed. So that and lift early.
Lift early and let that car roll. Use less brake. Let the speed come from less brake. Lift early, roll into the corner faster, and sometimes you even pick up speed doing that. That crew chief's looking at, hey, I said slow down. I am slowing down, saving the fuel and going faster.
Josh Berry and Kyle Larson have also made a pit stop.
Here he comes.
Here he comes. The leader, Shane Van Gisbergen, is going to pit. He's led 67 of 75 laps so far. Long way to the end of pit road, where he has pit stall #1 down at the bottom of the hill. Making what he hopes will be his final stop and handing the lead over to Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, and as I look at these lap times, Jamie?
They count him into his box. SVG is here. He needs enough fuel to make it 24 more laps in regulation. A 4-tire stop here as he sees the field flying by him here in the #1 stop. Box it down and away.
Nemechek and Elliott are in. So is Bowman.
And if it runs green right here, I mean, Larry, you tell me if I'm wrong. Even if Connor Zilisch or some of these guys can't make it, there's going to be several cars that try to make this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There may be some not make it. We saw it yesterday in the O'Reilly Series race, but somebody's going to make it.
Somebody will.
And the problem for Van Gisbergen is that 2 of those somebodies are in the top 2 positions. Gibbs and Zilisch both stopped at lap 61. Now Chase Briscoe's in 4th place. Here's their discussion about this economy run.
Just remember, as smooth as you are with your throttle inputs, the less fuel we will use. We are right on the number. Will it be a short shift? No, short shift. Just manage your throttle inputs.
Comfortable with what he sees. Don't change anything. Smooth with your throttle inputs, and we're right on our number. Doing good so far. 19 Briscoe.
Josh?
Well, guys, just an update on the 54. They just told him over the radio, you are about a half a lap short, so I need you to save where you can. Also reminded him that the 88 is saving as well to manage the gap, but it's his race, his pace, but a half a lap short for the 54.
With this much time left, I'm confident that I can save you this fuel.
Especially with the lead they've got.
That's
over,
right.
Like back there, Allmendinger's got a pit in 3rd. The lead they've got over Briscoe right now.
Yeah, but you got Zilisch with 2 seconds behind you. That's the gap I have to manage. Just be here, be safe. Start to ease off on the throttles. Half throttle down that straightaway at sometimes. I want to probably take some dives at it and give that crew chief a chance to look at what I'm doing and then correct me as we go throughout these last 21 laps.
So behind Gibbs, the next 3 drivers on the same strategy, Zilisch, Briscoe, and Dillon, have all been told to save fuel.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm nervous about with the 54 is they just told him, and his lap times have been a lot faster than the other guys. So it'll be interesting to see how this all works out up front. Regan?
Well, Kevin, I just went down and checked with the 88 crew chief of Randall Burnett and said, hey, can you make it? How close is it going to be? All I got was a shoulder shrug, and it didn't look like a convincing shoulder shrug to me in that moment right there. And the 3-car of Austin Dillon checking with Richard Boswell. Same result in terms of when I asked him. He did say, though, no reason not to try.
That's right. At the end of the day, maybe they don't know, but that's the play they're playing.
Yeah, and that was kind of my point to Larry earlier was somebody's going to try it. His answer was exactly what I thought it would be. Somebody's going to try to make it. And these guys aren't in the Gibbs and Zilisch position like Briscoe and Dillon. They've been back there just saving gas from the beginning of the run.
So Shane Van Gisbergen came back on track around 24th spot. He is up to 21st, and he needs to gain 1.3 seconds a lap on the leader to have a chance of getting there before the checkered flag waves. Here's his radio.
We just need our pace for 23 laps, so we'll get most of the ones, and the ones that are backing down we'll probably get to.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to go get most of these guys. They're saving. Tires are older.
In other words, you're on your own.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty much.
21 laps to go in Watkins Glen as the fuel strategy games continue. Next Sunday, $1 million on the line as NASCAR's best battle in Dover. It's the NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race with pre-race at noon Eastern and the green flag at 1. It's all on FS1. 19 laps to go in the Go Bowling at the Glen. The top 12 cars all on the same strategy as we see our aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Tried, tested, proven, legendary. And in 12th, Shane Van Gisbergen.
Use that draft to your advantage. Use that draft to your advantage. Sure, lifting early, lifting early.
That's the 88 you hear using that draft. Gibbs missed a little bit coming up through the S, is starting to slip around a little bit too. He's going to feel the pressure. Joey Logano is 16 laps down and saw him slip again right there. Trying to save fuel, managing tire wear.
And it's really, really hard to know where the 54 car is other than off of what it looks like on the racetrack right now. But Connor Zilisch has definitely closed that gap, and now he's almost on the back bumper of that 54 car, Ty Gibbs.
Well, Gibbs over the last few laps, several laps, was able to kind of put a pad in between him. He had a 2-second lead, but Logano, 16 laps down, really raced him hard and slowed him down. And now that gap is down to
going to do what he can to try to push
right there, as you see Connor on his bumper.
So that's first and second, 0.4 of a second apart. Van Gisbergen is 12th, running as hard as he can, but some of the cars that are ahead of him are going to be a tough pass. He's got to get past Hamlin, Chastain, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, Briscoe, none of whom are going to lay over.
Yeah, the crazy part is that lap he was 2 seconds faster than our leader of Ty Gibbs right there. So he's putting them up and putting them down really quick right here. And that lap time is a massive difference.
And right now he needs 1.1 second per lap, but to Mike's point, that's not factoring in getting by other cars.
That's right. I don't see it happening without a caution for the 97 car. He is Superman behind here, and he's got a hell of a cape behind him, but without a caution, I don't see him catching some of those front runners.
19
but they have
seconds
to save.
Back, Clint, with 17 laps to go.
Yeah, I think there's a real possibility if he doesn't get hung up too much here, Clint.
Well,
in traffic, like this is not what he needs right here. He needs to catch him in the brake zone and go right by him. But this is what'll save those guys from him catching them, is catching them in the wrong spot like he did with that 77 car. Like that's probably going to hurt his lap. Well, we'll find out. No reason to speculate. We're almost to the start-finish line.
So he had to follow Hocevar through the carousel and down the straightaway before making the pass. Next car ahead is Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, he actually dove to pit road, it looked like right there.
And Van Gisbergen now 19.5 seconds back. So that's the wrong way.
Yeah, that lap time hurt him about 1 second. So it saved those guys up front 1 whole second.
Speaking of those guys up front, look at this battle heating up.
Zilisch had a look coming up the back straightaway as they headed for the inner loop.
And as these guys race each other, that'll slow them down. That helps Van Gisbergen.
It's also not going to help their fuel mileage any, battling this hard.
Yeah, and they've definitely checked the pace up just a little bit from what they were 7 or 8 laps ago.
.16 to go. Van Gisbergen has gotten by Denny Hamlin and Chastain and moved up to 8th, but still 18.5 seconds back with 16 to go.
Just all depends on what these two do. Whoa, we got 3 wide right there behind SVG, but he's definitely made quick work of all that traffic. See all those?
Yeah, that was Chastain, Hamlin, and Hocevar.
Let's see what this lap time is.
Saving us, man. We're still not great. We still got to save, okay?
Okay, I'm trying to win this race, and you want me to what? Save gas?
But he's able to do that a little bit more than Gibbs is. Being able to follow him, be in his draft, be able to use, save when you want to instead of when you have to, like Gibbs does.
Oh,
turn 1.
Bubba Wallace around and against the tire back, but he is running and should be able to pull out of there without a caution flag. There we go. Now here's some Ty Gibbs radio.
The more we save now, the sooner I can let you go. At this rate, we aren't going to be able to push, and he is, so we'll be racing for third.
That takes me back to the front side of this, of what I saw in Logano. When Logano was racing him to get a lap back, it really hindered Gibbs' speed. He got away from him, but a 2-second lead, and it got swallowed up as soon as he got to race him. That right front tire keeps sliding on Zilisch about every lap in turn 1 that I've seen. We saw it at the bus stop and everywhere else.
And where that'll really show up, Clint, is when they have, if they both start to race hard and you have to try to drive that thing into the corner super hard, it'll find that flat spot, because right now they're not even running hard. You could hear how early they're lifted into one right there.
Now you saw Van Gisbergen pass Chris Buescher for 7th place, and he's now 14.5 seconds back with 14 laps to go. He's coming.
Right now the projection is he'll catch him 3 to 4 laps to go.
Wow.
There you have it. That's fine. You can say it, Clint. Go ahead.
It's fun. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the rabbit to run down and chase. And if anybody can do it, it's that guy.
And you see just how much he had left in his car. That's the amazing part. Like on those old tires before, he ran at 13.0, which was, or he ran at 12.99 actually, which was his quick lap. And now the thing that makes him great is the fact that he can make those passes so easy under braking and lose so little time.
And I think this time is only going to get easier as it goes. Their tires are wearing out, they're saving fuel, and his tires are fresh, and he's going to roll. And these spots aren't so tight together. He can onesie-twosie them as he goes instead of having to pass 3 or 4 of them and get mired back.
13 laps to go. He's now just 12.5 seconds back.
That's exactly what I was saying.
So it's within range.
Oh, it was 2.3 seconds better that lap than our leaders.
He just told his crew, this is badass. This is fun.
And look, he's not, I mean, it's not that far. Just saw them exit the bus stop, and here he comes in the end. And like I said, the cars that he's going to pass now,
gonna be easy.
Easy. They're running by themselves, and those passes, you'll be able to time them, catch them in the right area, and be able to pass them, get into a passing zone.
And everybody ahead of Van Gisbergen stopped at lap 61 and has to be at least concerned about fuel.
Yeah, so they're all in fuel saving mode, and they're all on old tires. He's not in fuel saving mode, and he's on newer tires, so he's got twice the things going for him.
It just shows you how much he had in reserve, how much they were pulling the reins back on that thoroughbred.
And he does that a lot on his own. I don't even know that he tells his team how much he's holding back or what he's doing, because he's so savvy in the things that he does during practice, what he says in the media. So it's pretty impressive to see.
All right, they're still asking Connor Zilisch to save.
When can I go?
Gotta save us a little bit more right here, a couple more laps, and then we'll start picking the pace up.
I mean, that might be the saving grace. You know, they are pulling the reins back on these cars, so maybe they can run. You're going to have to see what they're made out of, too, when they can make it into their fuel window.
Yeah, I mean, at the rate that they're going right now, it's not going to matter, because he's going to drive right by him even when they're going.
Maybe. See how much they're pulled back. But he's catching them fast.
Van Gisbergen in 6th, now 8.5 seconds back as we're coming to 11 to go.
Yeah, they're on the same straightaway now. Oh, there's that tire again, Clint.
Try to get him if you can.
All right, there you go. Turn him loose.
You're going to have to, or he's going to catch us and beat us anyway. But he's going to have to make quick work of this 54 if he can do it. Oh! This is not what those leaders want to see. If a caution comes out
crashed.
now.
Caution's coming out, Clint.
Josh Berry and another car around. Whoa, side by side, and Zilisch almost caught the guardrail entering the inner loop.
Another right front lockup, and this is going to slow them both down big time this lap.
Yeah, you see that 51.
Van Gisbergen inside of 6 seconds now to the leaders.
Yeah, and that was kind of that surprise call from Zilisch to try to pass the 54 right there. Didn't work out. And like you say, Clint, that really cost them a bunch of time, and he didn't get the track position on the 54. That right front tire is a big problem, Clint.
It was just smoking again in that corner. This slowed them down really bad this lap for the leaders.
Gotta go hard here, man. Go hard.
A 117 to Van Gisbergen's 113.7. That was the 88 radio. It may be too little too late.
It is. He's there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was over 3 seconds on the 88 car that time. So now we're going to see what this 88 car has. If he thinks he's better than the 54, he's got to make this pass happen right here.
He's going to try. Didn't get it. Still locking the right front up.
Now that's where he got alongside Gibbs 1 lap ago, was coming into the bus stop.
And
This is exactly what SVG needs.
He's already by the 3 car. He's going to clear this 19 car off the carousel right here. Larry?
Yeah, so here's the trends of the race. I looked at the first 11 races in 2026, average of the last caution, 10 to go, which right now would be lap 90. My experience, when you tell a driver the road course there's 10 to go, the wires just start sparking inside the helmets.
So, right, it is sparking in the 88. He's trying all he can do to get around to 54, and now it's every corner right front lock up.
Another
now
116 for the leaders. And for Van Gisbergen, 114.7.
This is what an unbelievable effort by Shane Van Gisbergen. This is a performance display. Look how far Zilisch just fell off now.
And NASCAR adding 10 laps to the length of this race for 2026 has made this a real nail biter.
Yeah, it was always a little bit too short. And I think the way that it made this pit window and the way that it made this scenario today to have this pit sequence work out the way that it did, I thought that they were crazy on this 97 car with the way that they pitted, but man, has it worked out.
Whoa. He's got a right front down. Told you. He's done. Slid it one too many times.
Not pitting.
Gibbs is a sitting duck. This is a lot of racing left. Wow, what a performance.
Coming to 8 laps to go, and Shane Van Gisbergen on a completely different strategy is now once again within sight of the lead. He and Michael McDowell on the same strategy. McDowell back up to 6th, having a real good day.
Yeah, and he's going to be leading going into the bus stop, I believe. That's how soon this is going to happen.
Zilisch to pit road.
Kevin, he made up 22 seconds, somewhere around in there, on the racetrack. That car pitted, Kevin.
Yeah,
the car, it went to pit road and took tires.
Yeah, well, he's going to be the leader here in a couple seconds. See Ty Gibbs get loose right there off of turn 4, and SVG is going to go right on by. And if you're that 54 car right now, you just let him go and really go into heavy save mode to just make sure that you get everything that you can out of this and with the 2nd place finish. Josh?
Yeah, and that's exactly what the team just told Ty Gibbs. They told him you're not going to be able to hold off the 97, so once he gets by you, we need to go back into save mode and keep our gap ahead of the 71 behind him at 19.
All right, Ross Chastain has made a stop. Remember, Chastain stayed out on track to win stage 1, an alternate strategy that has him now exiting the pits back in 32nd place after everything shakes out. Michael McDowell has now cycled up to 3rd place, 5 seconds back of the leader on the same pit stop strategy as Van Gisbergen. And it's possible with 7 laps to go that he could overtake Ty Gibbs for 2nd.
I think you're right, and I think he will. But kind of not in position to win the race if you're the 54 right now. So you might as well just take a 2nd or 3rd place and get out of here with a good finish. You don't need to run out of gas because that is 100% detrimental.
I don't think any of us were fans of Travis Peterson's strategy when we heard him explain it to Michael McDowell, but it looks as if this is going to work out for them.
It is.
We had him rode off.
Yes.
I mean, that's a fact. We really did. That's why you love road racing. This car's hurt.
Yeah, Cody Ware has made, I think, 3 pit stops in the last 3 or 4 laps, and I believe he was involved in that dust-up that included Josh Berry, but did not bring out a caution flag. He's made a couple stops for repairs, trying to limp around here and get a finish.
Yeah, he needs to just pull in. He's in the way right there. That was a terrible spot to be in the way.
Guys, we ran some more math. When Van Gisbergen got back up to speed, in 17 laps, he made up 29 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, now he's just setting his own pace out there. You see these cars back here. Kyle Larson being one of those cars back in 18th position, Clint. I'm really surprised how bad their day and weekend has been.
Zane Smith running with him. They just got past Carson Hocevar, who has faded to 20th. Here comes Michael McDowell on Ty Gibbs. Well, they didn't bowl a perfect game, but I think they probably came about 1 strike away from one.
Yeah, they're definitely going to get a spare out of this. So, and
this is a great day for Michael.
It really is, and this is what you would expect. You see Ty Gibbs have a lot of trouble off the corner right there.
I think he may have had some persuasion the front bumper to the 71.
But back to Michael McDowell. He's expected to be good on these road courses and do a good job. And honestly, the rest of the racetracks have been a little bit off for him. And so this was a weekend that you had to have circled for McDowell to get right, and for the team at Spire Motorsports and the performance that we've seen out of the 7 and 77, they've just done a great job, and this is what we expect out of the 71 on a week-to-week basis, especially on a road course.
So Spire is 2nd, 14th,
23rd,
and 23rd with Hocevar. Now,
how about RCR? This is a great day. Good rebound for that 8 car. We had to talk about a little bit more noise than we wanted to in Texas. But both RCR cars very strong, 5th and 6th right now, Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch.
Looking like Austin is going to get his first top 10 of the season today. First Ford in the race is behind them. That's Austin Cindric. And then Tyler Reddick trying to hold on for a top 10 finish. Regan?
Well, Mike, keep an eye on the 8 car right now also as they came down the back straightaway this most recent time by. They just gave him the all clear that he's got enough fuel. He can go race these other 2 cars if he wants to right now.
So Kyle Busch currently 6th with 4th place in sight and possibly 3rd.
Yeah, and as long as these guys that haven't pitted have been out there on tires, it feels like they have 2 flat tires in the back. So it's always interesting when they tell you to go and then you try to go harder, and the next thing you know, you're like, well, I can't go any harder. I don't have any grip.
4 to go.
And there is Reddick in 8th place with Allmendinger 9th after a pit stop at lap 80. His tires are 9 laps fresher than Reddick's. So Allmendinger trying to work his way back up into a great finish here.
Yeah, both of those cars, 45 of Reddick when they pitted definitely thought that they were in trouble, but the way that this whole thing has cycled out with everybody being so close on gas, it has made that the preferred strategy. And SVG, he's just basically driven off from the rest of the field. He knows that McDowell is back there in 2nd place now, and he's just put the hammer down and said, all right, I'm just going to show you guys what I'm all about today. Not that they already didn't know.
I want to point out something that this has really shown me, though. Tires matter. The fall off of this race. This is something that we have longed for, we've needed, and he just showed the power of tires. Spotted him 29 seconds. We knew that was a lot to ask out of those cars to not only make it on fuel, but the fall off was real today at Watkins Glen, and he proved that, Shane Van Gisbergen. Tires matter once again. Horsepower change for the road courses.
And really, this is what you're looking for every week.
Yes.
Like, this is the type of tire fall off that you want to see, where you can put tires on and make a difference.
And that is reinforced by Michael McDowell's day, because McDowell's laps are only a couple of tenths off Van Gisbergen's at this point. He stopped within a lap of Van Gisbergen, and the two of them, I mean, they're about a second ahead of the field per lap, with the exception of, say, Allmendinger and right now Blaney.
The other guys with fresh tires.
Yeah.
Allmendinger and Blaney.
Connor Zilisch just set the fastest lap of the race, but he's mired back in 25th after he came in for tires just 5 laps ago.
And we knew that the Zilisch car would have a lot of speed, so he's done a nice job today, and he still obviously has the speed. Now it just comes down to putting everything together to have them in contention.
2 laps to go. And Shane Van Gisbergen is going to have the whole rest of the NASCAR Cup Series scratching their head, analyzing data, and again trying to figure out how, why, what are we missing, and where do we find it?
Well, they know where it's at. And he's been here for a couple years, and they've analyzed it and analyzed it and analyzed it. And at this point, they're not going to find it. They're not going to find it unless they take their driver out and put him in.
I agree. Nothing you can do about it.
Great day for Chevrolet. Right now they have half of the top 10, 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 8th, with the Toyotas 3rd, 4th, and 7th, and Cindric's Ford in 9th.
Corner clear.
White flag. Mercy flag for the rest of this field. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank, as Shane Van Gisbergen and his team have put on a clinic in how to attack a road race course.
Kevin in the pre-race, Chris Myers asked us if he could make the playoffs. And you look over here, and the job that he's done today, guess what position he's in? 16th. He's in the playoffs.
And that's really what they needed to do today. We felt like this was a do-or-die day for Trackhouse Racing in either the 97 or the 88. You see the experience of his crew chief, Steve Duran, and Shane Van Gisbergen, and they're going to capitalize on what they should have today.
And we still have 2 more road courses before the regular season ends.
Well, he came in here 19th in points, 27 points below the cut line. And it looks like he will leave here in 16th, 6 points above the 17th place car.
Down by almost 30 seconds. He's going to win by easy. Unbelievable.
Checkered flag. Shane Van Gisbergen is the master of NASCAR road racing. Josh Berry off at turn 1 on his final lap. He and Hocevar got together. 7th career win. And he's the 7th driver to win this season. 2 wins here at Watkins Glen in 3 starts.
Backwards, go around before you come back to the start finish line, please.
Seven Cup wins, the most by a driver not born in the United States in NASCAR Cup racing.
Well, he's turned Cup racing upside down on these road courses, and just you can see all the data and everything that he does, but you can't duplicate it. And he's just one of the world's best road racers, and that's the end of the story.
Well, let's take a look at today's big move, sponsored by Pods. We followed him all the way back to the top after putting on fresh tires at lap 76. The Pod's big move is Shane Van Gisbergen going past Ty Gibbs to take the lead for the final time today. He led 4 times for 75 laps. Ty Gibbs led 17, Michael McDowell 5, and Ross Chastain 3.
Well, Shane's got a great celebration. We get to see him kick that football into the stands today.
Well, he kicked their butts.
He did kick their butts.
Get a football to the stands, but he darn sure kicked their butts on this racetrack.
I know we showed the odds at the beginning of the day, and he came in this race as what, -1 million, or something like it. Might as well have been.
Yeah, it'll be worse next time.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah, it was so bad that they gave you the rest of the field. Clint took the whole field. I took him. How'd that work out for you?
I was gonna
Michael McDowell, a strong second place finish, 7 seconds back. Ty Gibbs held on for third. Chase Briscoe fourth and Tyler Reddick fifth, so 3-4-5 for Toyota. Then the RCR cars, Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch, bracketed A.J. Allmendinger, who ended up seventh. And Kyle Busch may have run out of gas. He gets a push on his cool-off lap back to the pits. Austin Cindric and John Hunter Nemechek round out the top 10.
Good burnout, too.
Gonna need some tires, boys.
What a clinic.
Folks, you've just seen one of the greatest performances in the history of road racing in NASCAR.
Again.
He's captured the hearts of these American fans, the New Zealander. Birthday boy this weekend. Light the candles. What a nice present this checkered flag will be for Shane Van Gisbergen. I see Jamie Little down in the midst of that celebration. Jamie?
He gets his helmet off. All the high fives. What a day for this entire team. There's his pit crew, talked about the job that they did today. They executed when they needed to. Shane Van Gisbergen. There's the rugby ball, getting it ready, Shane. He's gonna sign that and kick it to the fans. Here it goes. And the kids got it in the front. Shane, you had to come in and pit. You blended in about 26th with 24 laps to go. You absolutely put on a clinic. How did you do it, especially this time in a number that means so much to you, your first time winning here in the 97?
Yeah, you're right. Unbelievable to win with 97. Yeah, Superfoil Chevy was great. Thank you to Trackhouse. We weren't very good in practice, and then qualifying was amazing, good tweaks, and then today, so what a race car. And then Stephen made great calls. I wasn't sure how it was going to work, and then to run them down like that, very, very special to do 2 in a row.
There's Stephen right there, his crew chief. You know, you've been working on your racecraft in NASCAR, learning these ovals. That's what we primarily do. But when you come here and you get to run on road courses, how much fun is it to show everybody here what you're capable of? This is your wheelhouse.
Oh, for sure, but it's not easy. Everyone's really good. There was a lot of pressure there, and I think McDowell was good, Connor was good, Tyler Reddick. There were some really good guys and a lot of pressure, so just stoked for these guys, you know, to execute every facet of our game, and speechless. It's so cool.
Nice birthday present. Congratulations. Shane Van Gisbergen wins at Watkins Glen.
He came from 29.2 seconds back in 18 laps. Look at that.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, you look, 26th position right there. And he won by 7.5 seconds. He just absolutely put on a clinic. And I think that his ability to be able to pass, I know he had better tires, but being so efficient with the passes and being able to make those so efficiently just puts him in a great spot. See the whole field right here pretty much except for he and Reddick. decided to pit, and we thought he was in big trouble at that point to be able to put all this together, and didn't know if he had enough time left to do exactly what he did, but he did it, and it wasn't even close, Clint.
Well, I think it was a combination of the job that he can do behind the wheel. When he took off, right, he really showed his strength and how fast he really was on the old tires. He got up through the field, and the fact that they had to save and come back to him, it just put him way out front. Not even close.